Is that the case?
Yes, initially.
You stop payment for
we stop for everyone except Mr.
I'm not seeing the witness media. You should be seeing face to face.
Yeah.
Huh? Yes, you said you stopped the payment for all except Mr. Law. Is that it?
Initially, we stopped for everyone except Mr. Ndong and advanced our argument to the auditors why we did not stop for Mr. Ndong.
Initially,
yeah. But when the final verdict,
we have noted the aspect of Mr. Ndong.
yeah.
I'm now coming back to the others. Yeah. That means we have stopped for good.
Yes.
For all except Mr. Ndong.
Yes.
Auditors will have to confirm that. And then on Mr. Ndong, you did not stop simply because of the memo from the PMO.
Initially.
So we have established that part. Now the other part is those that you were paid, the auditors also recommended that you need to prepare recovery plan.
So that, we wanted to do that, we started doing that, but the police also were doing it. So it cannot be done by two. So we met the police.
Who are doing it?
So the same audit was sent to the police.
Yes.
And the Inspector General was also doing the recovery. So two institutions cannot do the same recovery. So we met the IG.
How would the IGP do the recovery plan without the hospital?
They showed us that they are mandated as well to investigate.
Did you provide recovery plan to them?
No, we met the IG
And
and discussed with him, and he already started the recovery.
IGP cannot do the recovery plan. It is the hospital that should do the plan. Based on the plan, then the recovery can take effect.
No, they are already doing the recovery.
Or they did the plan on their own.
Yeah, they are already doing the recovery, and when I met him...
Or they did the recovery.
They were already on it, we were already 80% done, they said.
How were they doing the recovery?
They called these people and then asked them to pay.
They called them directly and asked them to pay. So that was an arrangement between the defaulters and the police.
Yes. So the hospital was not part of it.
The hospital was not part of it. Okay, we'll come to that. But let me clear these 2 points from the auditors. One, on the issue of the non-stoppage of payment to Mr. Malandong. The audit, we have provided a memo from the PMO that was advanced as the reason why Mr. Malandong payment was not stopped. Were you privy to that memo? And if so, what was your position, or what's your position on that? Mike? Can you help that?
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. I just want to draw our attention to the day that we will have in the exit meeting between NAO and management of AFSPH. This said letter was provided to us. And then our standing was, all allowances would only be paid to practicing staff of the AFSPH. And Mr. Now, being a full-time administrator, was not practicing. So on that day, we cited an example of Dr. Al-Jafari and Dr. Jai. That they are full-time administrators, but notwithstanding, they are also practicing. And we've seen evidence of them practicing. So Mr. Ndao was not practicing. So hence, they should stop that allowance immediately. So that was our recommendation on that day in the presence of the board chair and then some of the members of the management of AFSPH. So that was it on that juncture. So on the issue of the other staffs who have been paid for allowance being stopped.
Let's get that clear. That is that the call allowance will take to practicing nurse administrators. The call allowance will pay to practicing nurse administrators.
Staffs.
For staff.
Staff in general.
Practicing staff.
Like, for example, Dr. Al-Jafari was receiving it, but we did not query it because we've seen evidence of him practicing as a doctor. And so as Dr. Jai.
Practicing staff.
Yeah.
And the Dr. Mr. Marandong,
he was a full-time administrator. And we didn't see any evidence of him practicing as a nurse.
And there was no evidence that he was practicing as a nurse.
And we saw that evidence. We discussed this in the presence of the board chair and other members, and then they concurred to it at that juncture. So that was why this finding still remained that we still stand on it that it should be stopped and then recovery should be made. So it's surprising to us why it continued to be paid after 2 months.
Yes,
just additionally, I think we can always borrow wisdom from what the CMD said, and I quote, he said, later on they are of the opinion also that this memo does not cover the EFDH. And we all agree that these district hospitals and other hospitals, the legal architectures are different from that of the RBDH. RBDH has a standalone legislation, and they have a board. So therefore, I think we can draw wisdom from what he said, and he's very right. The memo, the content of the memo does not cover EFDH, like you also alluded to. EFDH is not a district hospital, neither does it fall under the other hospitals that are highlighted there. So the issue is the payment should have been stopped, which he again said he agreed to. But on the issue of the police, I just want to make this clear. I know for a fact that it has been a practice. They would not call you and say you have to pay, but they invite individuals whom these reports actually affect. So when they come, some of them would volunteer to make payments, and they would also come up with payment terms. It's a normal police practice, even in private citizen matters that are reported before them. They also do what we call community policing. So I know it has been a practice, and if you remember some other reports that we also sent, that they've also employed the same mechanism to recover some of those funds. But I think on the issue of this memo, it is settled that RBDH does not fall under the listed hospitals, and therefore he's not entitled to the payments.
Chairman, I have a comment.
Yeah, let me allow her. She was supposed to proceed on the other part.
So the other part of the evidence is that they are actually claiming we were not provided with such. So we cannot actually say anything about it, whether they've actually stopped it or not.
How about the payment plan?
No, we are not privy to it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just I've had, we've already agreed to what the lawyer or the legal minded was saying, but it's quite contradictory to what the director is saying. The director is saying that if at all Mr. Ndong was practicing, then he should have been paid. So that means that he's saying this memo applies. And if that is the case, then we are saying that that memo is not talking only about practicing. It's also talking about administrators. So just being an administrator, whether practicing or not, you should be paid. So if we go by what the director is saying, that if Mr. Ndong was practicing, then he will be eligible, then that means that it's different from what the lawyer is saying. Thank you.
Just clarify. I think
Did you say the memo is talking about administrators?
No, what I mean, the director was saying the exit meeting, they saw this memo, this letter, and they were saying the only reason why it was not applicable is because Mr. Ndong was not practicing. We already, even though this talked about district hospital, not EFSTA, but the director is saying that if not for Mr. Ndong not practicing, this would have applied from the insinuation.
No, I don't get that point. You said during the exit meeting, emphasis was on the point that he was not a practicing staff. Okay? And then earlier on, I tried to make reference to the memo where the PMO categorized the beneficiaries. And the beneficiaries, the institutions or the facilities did not cover a small teaching hospital where Mr. Ndong worked. Even whereas he was also supposed to be under what is called a nurse administrator. But they are arguing that he was not a practicing staff. There is no evidence to show that he was a practicing staff. That's that. But that is what that did not allude that if he was a practicing staff, he could benefit. One can still further argue whether Edward Francis Small qualified to be covered under this memo based on the categorization that was advanced by the PMO.
Chairman,
I said a further agreement. But the fact that there was no evidence to prove that Mr. Odom was a practicing staff, according to them, he was not supposed to be benefited. But was he a practicing staff? They said there was no evidence of that.
Mr. Chairman, we already agreed to that.
Yes.
If you use that criteria, that EFSTH is not distributed, we already agreed to that.
Okay.
It is only when the director stated that if not for him practicing, he would have been eligible. That's why we are saying, from that point of view, it insinuates that.
Did she say so?
Yeah, but the camera is there. You can review the
Yes,
document.
but she's already here.
You know, the audit process,
It's already here.
at audit process, when we go, we do what risk assessment, we document the process. And then we conduct interviews with relevant stakeholders. So all the allowances that we are categorized under AFSTH, we make contact with the relevant stakeholders, and then they explain to us the nature of this allowance and why they're supposed to be paid. So specifically for the core allowance, it was stated that it is meant to be paid for staff that are practicing. And this is clear. If you state that this is what we have in our documented process, this letter was provided to us on the day of the exit meeting. That was the day when we've already finalized and then we were going for the exit. That was the day this letter was provided to us. So on the basis of that, this allowance is to be paid to staff that are practicing. Obviously exclude Mr. Dong because we've not seen any evidence of him. So I think if it could be recalled, this was the argument that I even put forward on that exit meeting in the presence of the chair, that we've not seen evidence of him practicing.
His argument was that if there was evidence that he was a practicing staff, based on this memo, he was qualified to be a beneficiary. That's what.
I mean, you can get that from what he said.
Yeah, that's the agreement.
And that contradicts what the lawyer is saying.
I just want you to confirm that point. Then I'll come back to her. That's his agreement. Is that the point?
Yes, as I alluded, we have a documented process, and this was stated to us by their officials, that this allowance is meant for so and so and so categories of staff. So if we went to the audit and then we realized that Mr. Dong was not practicing, so that was why his name was spotted out as an ineligible expenditure on his side, him receiving the call allowance. So that being the case, he should have refunded the monies and then it should have stopped henceforth.
He was a practicing staff.
Yeah, according to what they stated to us, that this allowance
was,
yes.
Based on this memo, would he be qualified?
That is why we did not query Dr. Al-Jafari and Dr. Jan, because they
based
were...
on this. If there was evidence that he was a practicing staff, based on this memo, would he be qualified?
No.
No.
Okay. Because, can I...
Okay, but
Just to clear this point, I think everything is clear. It is on record that the CMD himself accepted that the memo is not applicable to the EFTA because it does not fall under any of those categories. Therefore, the EFTA cannot rely on this memo and effect payment. That is the bottom line. And it has settled the issue at hand.
I think we agreed to that.
So that's the question of the audit.
Yes.
That is the hospital cannot rely on this memo.
Exactly.
Because they don't fall under any of the categories
Yes.
highlighted in the memo.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
we agreed to that even before this. But if Audit is giving us two versions,
It's one version.
so we could see why the confusion.
It's one
Because if Audit is saying, if not for him practicing, he should have been eligible, that means they are considering this document.
No,
And that's my point.
I think, no, sorry, Doctor, I came back to the person who was responding to that, and she had taken a final position. That on that basis is not applicable.
That's fine.
That's her position.
That's settled.
And that is also alluded by the colleague, okay, Mr. Baji, okay? So the point that we are noting here is that all the other staff affected, the payment was stopped,
Yes.
except Mr. Dong.
Yeah. Who was paid for 2 months only?
Mr. Dong was paid for 2 months. Can you take note? And then with the memo, the audit explained that Mr. Dong was not qualified to be covered under this particular memo. Therefore, the initial payment that he was benefiting should also be recovered,
Yeah.
And the additional 2 months also that was later paid to him also should also be recovered.
Yes.
Okay? And then the recovery of those who were affected, who were making the plan with the police also, should be verified. Whether the amounts were fully recovered or not. Can you take note? Should also be verified. Yes or no?
No, this is what we just said. I said, because this is what I want to say. I don't want to say that we are spending more time on this. I think what we should be doing is to find ways of recovering the 2 monthly payments that have been paid. Because since they are saying that they issued the letter, and auditors are claiming that they issued the letter after, so which is not still sufficient to the auditors. So what we should be doing now is to find possible ways how to recover the 2 months that they've already paid, and then we move on. Thank you.
Okay. So, members, we can proceed to the next point. 3.2 suspected fraudulent payment of non-private.
Is that 3.2?
3.2, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 3.2 suspected fraudulent payment of non-private parties, allowance to unqualified staff. I indicated earlier on where we have the issue in the final commission of the political indicator resolved that we will not cover that issue.
Yes.
So the auditors indicated that this has been resolved.
Yes.
So we can proceed with this one.
That one too is resolved.
Yes, I will. The 3.3 suspected overpayment of the hospital allowance to staff findings. The further audit query also indicated that the issue has been resolved.
Yes.
We go to the next one, that is 3.4, improper due diligence on the hiring of finance director. The review of the personal file, and then the recruitment process of the finance director show no proper due diligence conducted on the job history of the finance director. And then the various facts are indicated as presented last week, and the recommendation that was advanced is that the audit recommended that the position of the finance director to be re-advertised in the media to enable individuals with a minimum qualification on the TOR to be recruited. Management.
The board followed due process to advertise position and set up a committee to recruit the finance director. The review of documentation shows he was in active service at Gambia Maritime at the time of applying for the position. Management agrees Mr. Sise did not meet the minimum requirement for the post advertised, and therefore the position should be advertised as recommended. Background check was done, and management is resolved to improve on this. So we also further went to the board. The board has given approval, and this is the advance prepared already, and to be sent very soon.
Did you re-advertise the post?
We're in the process, yes.
When was this recommendation made?
December, I think. When?
And in your management response, you indicated that the situation will be regularized immediately. And when did you respond to this query?
This thing was finalized, I think, in December.
December which year?
I think it was finalized. I don't know. Do you have
December which year?
2024.
December 2024.
I stand to be corrected on the date.
December 2024? It was supposed to be finalized by December 2024. And then it was the board that was supposed to be responsible for that.
Yes, the board has given approval since.
The whole of 2024? What happened in the whole of 2024?
This was December 2024.
Oh, December 2024. Audit?
It was November.
November 2024.
Yeah.
That was the finalization.
Yes.
Now, after November 2024, then the board started working on it, And what stage are you at the moment?
The board has already approved for the advertisement, and the process. This is the final.
When did the board?
It's approved for the advertisement.
When did the board approve the advertisement?
I don't get it, but they've approved it already.
When did they approve it?
I don't have the date on that.
Board care?
I don't think they can remember. Huh?
Anyway, this one is
The date.
Do you remember the date? Or month?
So we don't have the date.
You said the board has already approved it.
Yes, long time.
Long time.
This year.
Can I get the copy?
No, this is not the. This is the copy of the advert prepared in April.
The advance is prepared.
Yes.
But that's why I wanted to connect the dots. When was the approval done, and when did you start preparing the advance? This was supposed to be regularized, you said immediately, way back 2024 November. Huh? December, January, February, March, up to April. It's now that we are preparing the advance. Is that immediately?
But what do you understand by regularize? Does regularize mean that the advert is already done?
Not actually.
Regularize could mean, I don't know what the editors understand, that the person is no more on that place, and then the process has started.
Not actually the person is no more, but to do the advertisement and appointment.
But that's a process. It cannot be like
Yes,
one
that's the
day
process. You said immediately. It will not take such a long time.
I don't think it's a long time for appointment.
Well, something that is taking up to 5 months, the doctor, I think, in all honesty, if we want to do it immediately, the process will not take that long, or should not take that long.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
So you started advertisement.
No, the advert is ready, but it's not
You
sent.
drafted.
It's ready, but it's not sent.
You drafted the advert.
Yeah, it's
When you
here.
are sent, you are able to send it to the media.
Yes.
When do you plan to send it to the media?
The plan was April, but we've
You
not
plan
done
to
it.
send it to the media?
We plan to send it in April, but we are yet probably this month.
You are yet to send.
Yeah.
It was planned, this was drafted in April.
Yes, but we wanted to send it in April.
And now we are almost midway,
May.
May. So hopefully next week you are going to send it to media.
I wanted to see my director of admin whether we can.
Director of admin,
No, but we will send it.
hopefully next week.
Hopefully, yes, this month. This month.
Not this month.
Before yes, month.
Before, something that was planned April. You cannot wait until the end of November and May. You want to send that. Hopefully next week.
Yes, honorable.
Huh?
Yes, honorable.
Can you take that?
Yes.
Well, this was stated, you have to do it immediately.
Okay.
Please let's not delay it.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable member?
Yes. Agree.
Yeah, the case on a point. I think I haven't exhausted that. Then
No, I'm
after,
not talking about that.
yes, okay.
No, what I mean is, it has taken, you saying it's 5 months, but actually I think it has come close to 5.5 months. And 5.5 months just to advertise. Because date when situations should be regularized. CMD is saying situations should be regularized if auditors, or if you understand what the auditors are trying to talk about in this sector. But date when the situation clarifies everything, because situation, that is how the thing was handled, how it's been handled, should be regularized immediately. So it means the position should be occupied immediately. So that's one thing. And then also, why would it take so long just to write up an advertisement for this particular position for about 5.5 months, when the situation should be regularized immediately, meaning somebody should be having occupied that position with immediate effect. So, and the other question that I have with regards to this thing is, for these 5.5 months that the position was vacant, because according to the auditors that the position was vacant, and the 5.5 months that the position was vacant, who was occupying the position, and on what basis was the salary paid? Was it on the salary was it on the rate of the person who was occupied as a full servant of that particular position in full, or was it past payment, or was it paid as an active person? This is what I want to know. Thank you.
I hope you get the question. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, and I think this is a good question. For the advert saying so long, I think that being a process that was found to be a problematic one, we think that we are meeting time to make sure everything is reviewed properly, done properly, and advertisement done. So we've gotten already the board approval. The board doesn't sit every month or every day according to the regulation. The board has to set minimum every 3 months. So we already got a board's approval. We've already done a draft. This was ready. It's supposed to be sent for April, but we are hoping that it will be sent this month. So I don't think any time has come. The other thing is about who was occupying it. The next in line was the one occupying the position, but not in an acting capacity, but in an overseer capacity. And so there was a percentage of the salary that is paid, not the full acting difference. So the director of, and this was taken to the board, and we were told that since it's going to be advertised, we should not do acting position. It should be an overseer, so that it's not that after 6 months you confirm the person. So it has to be advertised, and then we put the person. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, if I understand this here very well, the board sits quarterly, right? Every year.
No, I say according to our act.
Yes.
Minimum is quarterly.
Minimum quarterly. But do you sit on emergencies also?
Yes.
But I think since the auditor said immediately, you should have sat on emergency.
No, we are
Because
the ones.
this is a position which is vacant.
No, we are the ones who said immediately, not the auditors. The auditors asked us, when do you think?
Either way.
Yeah.
Either you said immediately or you also said immediately. But the word immediately is mentioned. So the word immediately, once it is mentioned, it makes effect from as at the time the auditor's query was observed. So once you said immediately, it means the position has been vacant. Someone was acting, or someone was overseen, as you said. So I cannot understand whether when your board should have sat on emergency with regards to this issue. What's your take on that?
No, I agree. Like the board sits regularly if there are emergency situations. They've done that many times. But this was the management saying that we will do this immediately. We will regularize it. And in regularizing it, that person is no more there, and the process has started. We did not think that immediately means that you have to do appointment, advertisement, everything, and put the person there. Everything. No, that's not what we thought.
So
I understand. Sorry.
From the instant that person was no more there.
Somebody is acting.
Yes. And now the process started.
What I still need clarity on is if we are to appoint or to make positions to be available, not vacant. If this is the manner that we should be appointing people on positions that are vacant, which will take about 5.5 months or even 3 months, I don't think we'll be employing people on positions. That's one thing. And then also, the board has a say in this. First, they have a say in the writing of the advertisement, because this is why it delayed. It has to take 5.5 months before, approving or writing of something to advertise the position. That's another thing. So once the board has a say in that to advertise the position, to write up and advertise the position, it means that the board could have sat on emergency. Why not this particular one? That's my
many emergencies on this audit report, like many times, maybe 10 times even. So it's not throughout the process to make the management response. The board has been helping us to make the management response. So throughout it's been like that. But after the final one, we needed to get board's approval, and then the audit process is very well. Because this is not just, it's a very high level, and you've done a mistake in the past, so you don't want any more mistakes.
What is money here on delay in the regularization, and who should be responsible for that? That is the board. Can I get the position of the board here on that?
Okay, yes, we did meet, and then ask the management to review the conditions of service, and then to rewrite to rewrite the terms of reference, and then they this one, and the board did also. Because remember, the audit was a very big event, and then there were many issues raised, So we had many meetings, and then, I think we met what was finalized in March, and then the management should come out and then do the advertisement.
How regularly does the board meet?
Sometimes we meet also ad hoc when there are emergencies.
When there are issues.
There are many issues with this audit report.
Now, our emphasis is on this particular issue. What was responsible for the debate in action?
Well, as I said, the board met and then asked the management to review the terms of reference. And then we met over it and then decided on the terms of reference, and then we asked the board to meet, and then the management of advertising. It is not that easy. Simply made a mistake.
Maybe you are not talking to the management. Okay.
As I said, the management, the board we met, and then we asked management to draft the terms of reference for review, but there was a mistake. When we are ready, we asked them to advertise. This is a process, it cannot be rushed. So you have to advertise and write the terms of reference and advertise, people again apply, then we review them, and then again, maybe we don't have the qualified person, we have to re-advertise again. So we are on it. So we will ask.
Chair, if I get you, my question was on what was responsible on the debate of action. Are you trying to allude that the management was tasked to review the terms of reference? Was that the recent responsibility?
Maybe the board had also other issues, so not the management, but the board had other issues to deal with.
No, I mean on this issue, what was responsible for the delay in action on this particular issue, not other issues? We just have to put that on record. We complain of delay. Yes, it is also fair. The business also give the receipt, whether we agree with them or not. But they should give us the receipt. What was perhaps in their view the cause to be delayed?
Well, Honorable, as if you say 5 months, there's a delay, okay, we'll accept and send our apologies. So we will expedite this in for next week, okay? We send an advertisement by next week.
Yes.
Okay? We will accept our apologies for the delay, and we promise that we will send the advertisement next week.
Mr. Chair, I think to me personally, I don't think it would be fair enough to conclude on an evaluation, because this is a very important thing, because a position which was vacant and needs to be occupied. For example, if this is a position that needs to increase to the economy of the Gambia, how much are we losing within 5.5 months? It's a serious matter. And if we are to employ people in this manner, a vacant position, someone overseen for about 5.5 months, who knows where the person, I'm not saying the person who was handling the position doesn't have a qualification. The person might have a qualification even higher than the person who was occupying the place. It might be, I'm not saying this is the fact. But then, if the person doesn't have that qualification to handle that position properly, how many losses would the country have with regards to this particular thing? So I don't think we should conclude on an apology alone, but the board should clearly tell us what delays the matter of writing up an advertisement and then putting someone in this position. Thank you.
Honorable, the explanation advanced by the board, we have deduced that action was lately taken. That is what is noted. The action was lately taken. Now, they are saying that they will be apologized. We are not saying that we are asking apology from them. Exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They are the ones that are saying that we will be apologizing. We have not made any comment on apology. It's just that the chair noted that they will be sending an apology. We did not request for the apology. And then let's get to the point. If Mr. Misuse was not working and somebody is acting, who was that person? Is it his immediate deputy?
Yeah, so the next in line was Mona.
Next in line. And if the query was around the qualification of Mr. Misuse, does that affect the next in line?
No, we don't.
The next in line could have or maybe assumed to have the qualification. Am I right?
It's very experienced.
Well experienced. Yeah, but that's the concern honorable member is trying to deduce. If qualifications surrounding the position holder is mentioned, well, the one who should be acting should be a concern that diligently the person should have the know-how of how to execute that work. And if there is that delay, perhaps that's where she's raising that concern. How your finances would be managed during the period. Okay?
The deputy is a bit more qualified.
Is it more qualified? Fine, noted. So let's budget.
Just one last recruitment issue. I think we should also look at the term in which the person is actually acting from. How long have he or she been acting? Because in international best practice, they say that you're going to be acting for more than 6 months. So maybe it should be a point that should be highlighted so that the administrators can basically, act and expedite the recruitment process.
In your regulation, how long can one act in a position?
So we already said that it was not acting, it's not overseeing.
It's overseen, but not acting. It's the same thing.
Acting by law after 6 months you have to, but overseer there is a prorated amount that you pay. It's not the difference.
So there's no provision in your regulation that talk about how long one can be overseen.
Yeah, we are still working on our regulations.
But the one that you have now.
Sorry, our service rules, yeah. We are still working on this, yeah. So what we
Is there any
are...
provision that talk about how long one can be overseen a particular position?
Where we don't have the act or the rules in our department, we use the national ones.
In the national one, for how long?
Acting 6 months, but overseer.
And we are saying, no, I think we are ruling acting out. So we are saying it's not under the category
Acting, yes. For overseer, I don't know how long. I don't know any specific time.
But it is important as the manager for you to find that out.
But it's not, we believe it's open.
No, you should not assume it should be so.
We don't see anywhere where it's stated 6
But you
months.
should, yeah, that's what it should be important. It's important. You establish that fact.
Okay.
So that you know that you are doing the right thing.
Thank you.
For how long one can oversee, for how long one can be acting. If it's not under acting, it's overseen, it cannot be indefinite.
Yes, we agree. Thank you.
Huh? Yes,
Chair, maybe we can bring it to their attention. We've just opened the general orders. But unfortunately, all we have here is acting appointments and not overseeing appointments. So it's okay. But you would not, I don't think you find it in the GOs. You are falling back to the general audit. I don't think it's contained.
No, we are saying the national.
That's the GOs.
Any regulations, not only the GOs.
That's the GOs. So it's not.
So let's conclude on that.
Yes, in conclusion, Honorable Chair, I think just as read by the legal team, you know, in our general laws that we didn't have the scheme, we have action. But even without the general laws, I think one should always bear this in mind that positions were not created, or positions are not created for someone to be either seen or overseen or acting for quite a period of time. We need somebody in this position. Somebody must occupy this position in a full-time payroll. And as you said, what are you doing, or how do you want us to confirm that the person who is overseeing that patient is even more qualified than the person who was there before? Thank you.
Yeah, but that's not that. We agree that the overseer is supposed to be a short period. And we are ready to provide the evidence of the person acting or overseeing.
So in conclusion, on the matter, we noted the delay, and then we also noted that action should be taken to immediately to advertise the petition and regularize the situation as recommended by the auditors. Okay?
Yes.
Can we proceed to the next issue?
Is that 3.5?
3.5. Suspected misrepresentation by the senior procurement officer during the recruitment process. The review of application received for the position of senior procurement officer from the applicant has shown the senior procurement officer claimed to be a member of the certified internal audit and also a member of the Chartered Institute for Purchase and Supply. But upon review of her personal files and through interview, it has shown that she did not obtain the qualification for any of the two qualifications that she claimed to be a member. On the basis of that, the auditors recommended that the management should immediately terminate the service of the senior procurement for misrepresentation during the interview for senior procurement officer position, and that the recruitment committee should also be held accountable for their negligence, and the committee should be looked at. So there are issues that are raised: termination of service, as well as recruitment committee to be held accountable of the negligence, and the committee also should be looked into. Then the management responded.
So the senior procurement officer has not provided evidence of membership or CIA professional body, but has shown documentation of being a member of ENC. And she has confirmed that she does not have the qualifications for both. Management agrees that there was a possible misrepresentation since she does not have the qualifications for both professional bodies, and thus agree with the recommendation to terminate her from the current position and re-advertise the position after thorough investigation by the court. Management also agrees to look into the recruitment committee and is resolved to standardize the procedures and the tools of the recruitment process. The recruitment committee that was involved was an ad hoc committee which has since been dissolved and the standing committee revitalized, which is the APC.
Did you act on the recommendation?
Yes, so that position, unfortunately that position is not even in the manpower, so it was removed from that position, and then it's some on leave for now, whilst the investigation by the police is ongoing. The committee, that committee has been dissolved, that was working on that, and then a new, the other one that was standing one, the APC has been revitalized and there are meetings recorded. And the hospital is currently working on, we have a farm that is helping us to develop our service rules and guidelines. Thank you.
The issues raised is you need to terminate the service of the officer. Did that happen?
No.
You don't terminate it?
No.
Why?
Sorry?
Yeah?
It's not terminated yet.
It's not terminated, but that was recommended.
Yes. That was a recommendation.
Why did you do it?
So investigation is ongoing with the police.
That's one part.
Yes. Unless it's concluded, we cannot take action. We've now sent them on administrative leave and has been also removed from that position. But the investigations must be concluded before.
The police did not say that the police should investigate. What they recommended that this should be terminated.
Yes, but we are saying that determination, you need to have evidence.
You
need good evidence.
Evidence.
Yes, so what we are doing is to conclude because the audit have asked that we send this to the police. So the police is investigation. After the investigation, then a concrete action is taken. But for now, they are sent on administrative leave indefinitely.
Yeah, I understand. What I'm trying to say here is that there are areas where the auditors should request for police to investigate. But there are certain things that they ask you to act on that. I'm not saying that directly you should resort to termination. The due process has to be taken. Internally at your management, did you act on that recommendation of the audit?
No, the investigation is ongoing right now.
Who is investigating?
The police.
That is one part. That is one part. What I'm saying here is that provisions of the audit query that call for police to investigate, that means action can only be taken based on the outcome of the investigation. But this one is, according to the audio, they did not say the police should investigate, but it's evident. And you admitted that what they say, you agree on that. There's no need to investigate on that. One is fraudulent. Before you act, would require police investigation. But it's not fraudulent. It is administrative. It's a misnomer, it should not happen, and you agree that it should not happen. What it should not happen, what should happen? It should cease. And this is what they are saying. I would not say that would require police to investigate, because you agree that that should not happen. And the action to be taken, according to your response, is that to terminate the service of the senior procurement officer. This is what you said you are going to act on. But you did not say that we will wait for the police to investigate before we act. And we say that the board will do the remedial action. And by the end of October, this will be regularized. All these were committed advance. I don't see any connection of this with the regarding the police investigation. Yes?
Mr. Chair, police will have surveys and the investigation to be regularized in October 2024, right? So from end of October 2024, when the present service will be terminated, and it's still not terminated. So let's assume that the police investigation have already concluded that there is fraudulent. Right. So when there is an approval of fraudulent in this case, from October to now, are you telling us that either you or the board who approves of not terminating the service will take the responsibility of recovering the salaries that have been paid to the person? Because it means the salaries from October 2024 to date when the service is supposed to be terminated and it is not terminated and the person is still on payroll, meaning it's illegal. Because you are appointing the person on your own thing. But then once the police investigation have already concluded that the person there is a fraudulent in it, meaning the payroll, the payment that the person has been receiving from October to date is illegal and that needs to be recovered. Will you take that responsibility of recovering that amount of money into the government coffers? Thank you. And again, is the person paying, is he still, or he or she still on a full salary payroll?
So we have noted that the recommendation advanced by the...
He didn't respond yet.
He didn't respond yet, my friend. So, you are making comment?
No, it's a question.
Yes.
And so, whether they will take the responsibility of recovering the amount from October to date, if there is a fraudulent case approved by the police investigation.
Can we go on?
Yes, we go.
Thank you. Yeah. So for the termination of that position she's no more occupying that position because we said no more. So a letter was written to say that she's no more occupying that position, is demoted. Now, that position is no more there. And the second thing is that
who is occupying that position?
No one for now, because that position did not even exist in the manpower budget. So what was initially done was not even right.
She's not occupying the position now.
Yes, nobody is occupying.
Moved from.
Yes. The second thing.
She's moved from that position.
Yes, she's removed from that position. The second
and that position is vacant.
Yes. No, that position was not even in the manpower budget. So it should not have existed in the first place.
That position is no longer existing.
Should not have existed because
is it existing?
No, now it's no more existing.
That's the point. So that position is no longer existing.
Yes. Until it is taken to PMO and accepted. So I have few other questions.
The position should not have existed and it existed.
That time, yes. So that was an anomaly, yeah.
That means you were acting illegally.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Come on board. Come on board and malignment.
Yeah. It was actually a former management, but we take full responsibility. Yeah.
Was illegally appointed?
No, we are saying that that position should not exist. It was an anomaly to fill it.
Huh?
It was an anomaly to fill
Yes.
it. So we removed them from there. And then, yes, the other question she asked, she's not on full salary.
Not on full salary.
Yeah, she is just on basic and administrative leave. And then whether we take full responsibility, yes, because we feel that they have rights. We have to tread carefully and ensure that before we terminate, all due process is done. And one of that is to exhaust the investigation. And if the investigation indicts them and they charge them, we'll still be paying them half salary until they're found guilty when we stop paying. The other thing is the procurement office. Who takes that position? Nobody is taking the position for now because it should not have existed in the first place. Thank you.
So the aspect of the advertising the position, that is pending the outcome of the investigation.
No, we cannot advertise that position because it doesn't exist.
Now, you indicated in your response that we advertise the position after a thorough investigation that is done.
Yes, but when we looked properly, we noticed that actually it was an anomaly. That should not happen. They are no more advertised. Until we create the position with PMO, then we can now advertise.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Can I come? Yes. According to the CMD, the person is still on a half salary payment until it is basic salary rather, until it's approved by the police. One question, I need clarity on that. Who authorized the police to investigate this matter? And that's one. And then the second thing is, why would a person who is already suspected of fraudulent being on half basic salary whatsoever, who authorized your institution, or is that according to the Act? Thank you.
Yes, so because it's suspended and put on administrative leave, so that's why they are on that. They are on, it's the laws. Yes. The second thing is that who asked for the investigation? I think it's the auditors, because they send their report to the police and the police took it up from there. Thank you.
I want the auditors to come in and clarify.
Yeah, just to clarify, normally when we don't with the management letter, we do a fraud report which we send to the police. And the fraud report only contains financial implications, alleged financial malpractices. So this issue at hand is not part of the fraud report, so it's not being investigated by the police. If we go through the report, there are other allegations that affect the said person being mentioned. Yeah, that is what the police are investigating, but not in instances of this case we mentioned here.
So the question again comes, who authorized the police to do the investigation? Because the auditors are saying that they didn't authorize the police, or no letter was sent with regards to this particular problem to do the investigation. Then who authorized them?
As I said earlier, it's not under those that are categorized with investigative police, but according to them, it's the board that will be investigating for them to do the regularization, but not for the police. I think the next one highlighted the one that's supposed to be investigated by the police. Yes?
Okay, yeah, just to answer Honorable Chan's question. You see, the office is under a constitutional obligation to send all suspected fraudulent cases to the office of the Inspector General of Police. It's a provision in the Constitution. And in accordance with the constitutional provision, this report was sent to the police for them to investigate. However, getting back to this issue, I was trying to hold myself back. But I would encourage the management and the board to liaise with the Attorney General Chambers and Minister of Justice. You see, you have two elements. One can be the administrative element, which the board can do internally. The other one is the criminal element that police is investigating. You can even terminate employment contracts, like in this case. I do not want to be conclusive, but I would advise that they engage the AD chambers and they will be guided as to what administrative procedure they can follow to do what is necessary.
Yeah, with the chairman or the CEO, the committee should be held accountable for their negligence.
Where is
What?
that? Where is that?
In the recommendation.
Are you at 3.6 or still 3.5?
I'm still at page 33
Okay.
up there.
Yes.
The recruitment company should be held accountable for the negligence.
Yeah, so that committee is no more.
Yes, that is the next part. Yes, you should look into the committee and you say it's normal, perhaps that has been dissolved.
Yes.
But how about what has transpired when they are in office? They should be held accountable for that. It's not only they are no more finished, but what happened, they should be accountable for that.
So we've dissolved that committee and set up a well-functioning committee. That's what we've done.
Yes.
It's not taking any action on them.
Yes, so that's the other part of the recommendation. You should look into it. Yes, exactly. You acted that way. Well, the other part that I'm emphasizing is the aspect of they should be held accountable of the negligence. What action did you take in that light?
Yeah, we dissolved it and set up a new one, which is revitalized.
I don't think that has to do with they should be held accountable of the negligence. Auditors,
What did they mean, yes?
they said they have a son. Has that addressed that concern?
Yes.
The address is for the auditors. Yeah?
Honorable Chair, with all due respect, we used to submit that it's for the committee to decide on that matter. We highlighted issues, highlighted the implications, they think they've done something that is enough. So it's entirely at the prerogative of the committee to see what to come up with, whether what they've done is enough or whether there is need for further necessary action on the matter.
There's no further comment on this. And then to them, they say they have resolved the committee. But our concern is that the committee know that the recruitment companies should also be held accountable for the negligence. Whether mere dissolution of the company could have addressed that, that would also be a point for the committee.
Yeah, we quite well agree that, however, these are things that are basically discretionary in nature. That is why we want to leave it to the committee to decide whether merely dissolving is okay or they should go after those people to recover these funds. We submit.
Fine. The audit will serve their opinion and the committee. Yes, text note please. Can we proceed?
Yes.
We go to 3.6.
Yeah.
Commission of Senior Procurement Officer with supplier to divert public fund. And this was indicated in the findings of the audit that the review of the account statement showing the senior procurement officer has been receiving funds from individuals who were working in the hospital as suppliers, which sum up to $214,050 after awarding of business to these vendors by the contract committee members. And on that, made the recommendation that the board engaged the Inspector General Police to further investigate the financial dealings between the senior procurement officer and the suppliers and recover these funds immediately. Now, these are the kind of things that we say the auditors will request for the police to investigate because they are fraudulent nature. That means you cannot take action pending the action of the investigation. Then the management responded.
Management agrees with this finding and the need for the police to investigate this further.
And then the police are investigating?
Yes.
You indicated that you are going to send them out a police. Did you do that?
The ministry sent actually, so
The
we don't have to
ministry.
send here.
And now they are investigating.
But even that one will not have been necessary because the auditors already sent us.
So that comes, they are now investigating.
Yes.
Okay. Can you go back for it?
You see, here we did send, and it is indeed true that there is an ongoing investigation. But the AFTH should also appreciate the fact that they have a board, and the board is the body that is charged with governance. So it is for the board to take these decisions and not the ministry.
We agree to that, but if there's a letter already and we are copied, I don't see the point in repeating it.
You know, my concern with Dr. always the ministry. The board is the body charged with governance.
I think the outcome is what is more very important.
Not necessarily the outcome. The action point also is important. Because in your management response, you indicated that CMD is responsible for the remedial action.
Yes.
For the ministry to tell if they are fine, they can do so. But you also should be seen taking your action as stipulated in your response that this is what we are going to do.
We did follow. We went up to the IG, but if we are supposed to task to write a letter, and the letter has already been written reporting the same issue, we don't see the point.
You don't see the point. The letter has been written
By our line minister. And we are copied. So we don't see the point.
Now you are deducing that the investigation is in progress.
Yes. And we met the IG to inquire how far and all that because we are interested. And he gave us update.
We gave the preliminary report.
Thank you, yes.
On the finding. When do you anticipate for the investigation to be completed during your engagement with the IGP?
At the time, he told me 80% was already done. And this was, is it 2 months or so? Yeah, 80% was already done. So they've gone far. Yeah.
In 2 months.
No, I mean, I think about 2 months ago.
2 months
I
ago.
think, yeah, I have to find it.
And
But that
80%.
time, 80% was done.
80%. So all that since investigation is on as recommended by the police, we leave it to that.
Yeah.
Suspected corruption among suppliers. And the review indicated that and the recommendation advanced by the management is that the management of the hospital should inform the registrar of these 2 businesses to be recommended for blacklisting of these vendors. Response from the management.
Okay, management agrees with this finding and recommendation.
And did you act on that?
No, this one we've skipped it.
Yeah.
No, we've not acted on this one. We are yet to act on this one.
You are yet to. This also taking you another, according to the member, 5.5 months.
Yes, this one we skipped it.
I was saying 5 months, but you said 5.5 months.
Yeah. This we have, we take full responsibility. Yes.
You take full responsibility for
Yes,
not acting on that.
Yes.
Henceforth, from now you are going to act on it.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
No for delay.
No further.
Next week.
So this one,
Can we take next week also?
yeah, this one, yes.
Huh?
This one, next one. Sure. Boss. Yes, ma'am. This one, I take full responsibility. I skipped it, yeah.
So next week we are going to act on it.
Yes.
Okay?
Inshallah.
This one, not inshallah.
No, like my inshallah is you are going to do it.
And Allah said no.
So, this one is my fault.
I'm sorry for that. Can we proceed? Suspected fraudulent use of the hospital resource for personal purpose by the CMD. Who's CMD?
That's embarrassing.
No, SMRC. Who's CMD?
My uncle says.
That's unfortunate. I hope it's so conflicting as well.
No, chief medical. So this one they need to put. Sorry, we needed to put former. Yeah, this one is implicated. So it's not me actually. Yeah, it's the former CMD. No, it's not me.
At the time of writing, the person was holding the position.
Yeah.
Now at the time of response, see how implicated we can be.
So this is serious. Yeah, just to clarify.
Okay? Now the review of the payment budget and the bank statements of both the hospital and the CND has revealed that the CND has approved the payment of additional allowance to himself, of which there were no approval from the board of directors, which he claims to be using to pay the rent. In addition to the above, CND has also used the resource of the hospital to fund his personal expense, including his travel on vacation. The details are indicated in the table, amounting to $628,000. And on that, the auditor recommended that the board would immediately engage and take and safe action against all the staff involved in the process to the immediate recovery of this fund from the former CND, now syndicated the former CND. The board act,
Management agrees with the findings and the recommendations.
and the day act.
Yes, so this one, to recover the money from the CMD, we started the process for the travel, we got sick, and later the police took over, and so we left it with the police.
You started the process.
Yes, we started engaging him on, how we want to recover, how to recover the process. But later he traveled. Then he said, when he was away, he said he was sick. He was admitted at a period that he had some very, very serious issues with the heart or so. So we only started engaging him. No, when we had this yes, around that last year. But later, when the police took it over, we left it because we don't want two arms to be trying to recover the same funds. It will be confusing. So that's why once the police started recovering, we left it.
Yes, current CMD, this is what was former CMD.
Thank you.
So far, there was an action for the action to be taken is for the money to be recovered. Since you started communicating the issue between and when we started recovering, how much so far have you recovered before the person gave you the information that you received? Before the
No, we started
before the police taking their application.
No, we did not recover anything. We started engaging on those areas, yes. And so we started discussion on that. And later he got sick. He couldn't continue the communication. He was very sick, abroad, according to him. And actually, from the discussions we had, you could hear that it looks like he was in a very ICU or something. Or you could hear the monitors.
But once he said he's sick, he's away, he's here. And you need to confirm that he's actually, the person is actually this. Do you try to request or ask for any medical document that will show you that you have an
he sent us that time medical document. He sent us. Yeah. The police now is trying to recover from all of this.
So that is called an investigation by the police?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Let's proceed.
Chair,
Yes.
see, I think we've made this point earlier on. The mandate of the police is not to recover funds. The primary mandate of the police is to investigate and prosecute crimes and prevent the commission of crime. But as part of their community policing, most of the time when they interact with suspects, when they talk to the suspects, most of the suspects will make attempts to refund some of these monies, which is perfectly fine. But this does not absolve the board from their responsibility to administratively pursue these funds that are due and repayable to the government coffers, particularly the EFDH in this case. So it's not one and the same. It still does not absolve the board and the management of their responsibility to ensure that the funds are back.
And let me seize this opportunity to say, and now that this is public fund, because it doesn't belong to the CMD, the current CMD, you are tasked to recover this money. And you said the person is sick. You started engaging him and the person got sick within the period. So this is public fund. Even whereas the person is sick, the money must be paid. We cannot be, I don't think there should be that excuse of the person is sick and the money is not recovered. But then you should find other alternatives of recovering that money. So what other alternative are you planning to recover this money?
Yeah, we agree with you 100%. The money must be paid at the end. It must be paid. But right now, we say the police are handling it. So I'll just allow my DA to just tell you what
yes,
has
because the police handling it according to the legal team. The police handling it is completely different dates. The police are conducting their investigation, which is their right to do that. But the recovering the money is aside. So the alternative, beside a person being sick and cannot recover the money directly from him, you should have another option of trying to recover that money. What other alternative are you planning to recover this money?
I wanted the DA to come, but just after that. I'm not a lawyer, he's a lawyer. But when we discuss, we are told that they investigate fraud and recover. I'm not a lawyer. If they tell me they can recover, then we allow them to recover. So that's my view. But let me allow DA to explain.
Hello? Yeah. So I wanted to say that the management through the board directly had started the recovery process. We were internally doing our own arrangements with our internal auditor. Then all of a sudden, the staff that were mentioned started to report to the police. One of them that was called was one of our the maintenance manager. And then he was in the police and called me back and said that the police said that he should pay the monies to the police. Then I said, no, you can't do that. We have already started the process, and we intend to have a payment plan with all the staff that I mentioned. Then he said, no, the police are insisting that they have to do the payment. Then I have to call the chairman. I called the chairman myself. I said, Chair, we are having this situation. But that time the CMD was away on his annual vacation. Then I said, Chair, we have this situation. The police are now insisting that all the people, our staff that are mentioned in the audit report, have to go there and make a payment plan for the monies that they are alleged to have in this appropriate. So what do we do? Then he said, no, okay, if that is the case, let's make sure that, if they pay, they bring their receipt for us to record. So this is where, we got confused, and then we informed the management that this is the situation. So we all did our internal consultation from the board, so everything was just confused. But internally, we had planned to do our own arrangement and do the payment. So for the former CMD, unfortunately, while we were trying to see how, to respond to the money audit report, queries and other things, the government sent in a letter to terminate these services. And being a foreigner, so obviously, he will find his way out of the country. He went, and then we were trying to make arrangement for him to see how best we can even get him back to the country, so that, we make sure that the monies that he misappropriated in the hospital, we try to find a way of getting it. Even if he did not work with the hospital again, but because by the virtue of the fact that he's a doctor and a radiologist, probably would have gotten job somewhere else. So, because, it's a small country, this is I am just assuming, it could be wrong. But it's possible that information had been sent to him that if you come here, you will get arrested. So we couldn't get him again. And also then he sent us a medical report that he was in Lebanon or in Syria, where he was getting some cardiac procedure or something like that. So yes, the management and the board did start the recovery process. But we were told by the police that they are doing the recovery. So thank you.
Mr. Chair, the recovery process, meaning, if I should understand it very well, meaning you're on a planning stage of trying to find out how to recover this money. And meanwhile, the person just went to abroad. And currently is on medical treatment, as you said.
At the time.
At the time, yes. But then the thing is, let's all remember that this is a public fund. And public fund must be paid. It must be retired. It's a matter of must. I apply that word must be retired. So in an event that the person just went away, whether God knows, Allah knows whether the person is actually sick or not, but the money must be retired. Under whose responsibility should that lie when you are to retire this money, when you are to recover this money? What are the alternatives that we are there to recover this money? That's what I mean.
I think after the police investigation, they take it to the Attorney General, they decide, they can prosecute, they can use Interpol, or they can take the assets he has here to recover the money. So they have a way to do it. But regarding whether we can recover or the police can recover, I think that's a legal issue between the lawyers there. I think somebody here can say that yes, because there is no other lawyer, but somebody could have a different position.
Did you seek advice from the legal team?
One of our management is a legal expert.
There is a legal expert. And then also, again, the person... Yes.
Chair, just on this point, with all due respect to what CMD says, you see, we all know, it's a standard. Police is not taxed to recover funds. They prevent crime, they investigate crime, and they prosecute crime. One thing that I know for certain, if the police would not compel anyone to pay these funds, because it's not their mandate to compel people to do so. But I think the Mr. sitting at the back of the CMD made mention of something, and for me which is very key, that we ask them that once they make payments to the police and they are issued receipts, let them bring it us. Has that been done? That is the issue again. But the issue, you see, if you prosecute someone and is found guilty, is convicted, can serve prison time without you getting the money back. But there is the civil element of the law in which you can file for actions for recovery and other administrative procedures. This entirely lies with the board and the management as they are the ones charged with governance. Criminal and civil can in fact run concurrently, they can go all together. Engage MOJ, I'm sure you will receive some legal advice from them in this regard.
They are not attempting to argue with the lawyer, please. But yes, well, we've agreed on that they have to, if they get a payment, they need to bring it.
Again, Mr. Chairman, in connection to that particular question that the man has already explained, the procedure that will be taken to recover this money on the planning stage. But then, according to him, as you said, based on your response, that he said the police has already informed you that the man should pay this money. So was this verbal on telephone, only on telephone, or was there any written document that the police advised you to recover this money, that the man must pay this money? If there is any written document, Mr. Chair, through you, can be requested as an evidence.
I don't understand. But what I did say is that when this particular staff was called to the police, so we initially, he came and informed me that I've been called by the first squad to go and respond. I said, yes, you can go. You know. Then after maybe 15, 20 minutes, then he called back. He said, the police are saying that I should pay the money here. Then I said, no, you are not supposed to pay the money. Because what I understand is that the audit is saying that we should recover the monies. Yeah? Then, you know, he said, well, we are paid. Then I spoke to the police officer. He said, the first squad guy. And he told me that, no, we, the police, are recovering the money. So there was no written document that I know was sent to the hospital. Then I said, okay, make sure that when you pay, then you give you a receipt. And I called the chairman, and that's exactly what he advised. That, okay, if that is the case, for himself, he was surprised that how come the police are recovering the monies that are supposed to be recovered by the hospital management. But make sure that, tell the staff that if whoever pays to the police must make sure that they are giving the receipt. That would be tendered to the internal audit of the hospital for records.
So there were no receipts? There was no receipt?
Well, I think so. I think there was a receipt. I think it must have been submitted to the or the privy to the receipt.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Those monies recovered, are they paid into your bank account? So have management also take it up with the police? Did you engage the police?
Yes, I engaged the IG. I went to see the IG.
So then what did he say? Because the money is as rightly said by the auditors because it belongs to the police.
Yeah, so that's what the legal parties say here, but the legal parties there said they had a mandate to recover this. That's what they said, and then they were 80% done.
Yeah.
And I was worried because I said, what about, because these are monies that needs to go to the hospital, for hospital services. Are we going to get it back? They reassured us that we'll get it back.
No, I wouldn't call it recover. They are not recovering the money as of now because it's not been deposited in your account. So maybe they are just receiving monies and who knows where those monies will land. So that's the issue here. So I think the board and management should take it up with the police and see to it that those monies are deposited in your account.
Thank you.
Okay, can we proceed? The recovery process is on at the level of the police, but no such payment is made to the hospital.
Yes.
Huh? There are a lot of facilities that we are paying rent to. I don't know, how many of these were you renting? A lot of facilities are listed in the table.
Is that 3.9, sir?
No, we are still on that. 3.8. I just refer you back to the table.
Yes, yes.
Where we have Amir, Al-Jafari, Baba Residence, etc., etc. Some of them we can see two or so tables were affected. Altogether, how many premises were you paying for?
Chairman, this was a problem because one, The auditors noted that it was not approved by the board. So all this was illegal. So that's why we are trying so that the police, it needs to be recovered.
Were they actually existing?
Yeah, they were paying rent for the former CMD in different locations. So it keeps moving. Sometimes stays here 1 month, 2 months. So they keep paying different sites. And they also were paying for housing. So that
For his staff?
No, for himself.
Or for himself?
Yes.
So it was the one who was for residential purpose?
Yes, for residential purposes.
Not office?
For residential purposes, yeah.
All this for himself?
Different sites, yes.
Different sites?
Some of them are guest house or hotels or those type of things.
I know some are repeated, the payments are repeated. Altogether, where there is no repetition, about 6.
Yes. So the ones for the CMD were all for him for housing.
For housing?
Yeah. Depending on the situation, where he's staying at a particular time.
About 6 places.
Yeah.
Amir Al-Jafari, Baba Residence, MHB Amar Al-Jafari, Adam Mbai, Mr. Ali Sheikha and Mr. Chorma Sheikha. Altogether 6. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, can we proceed for new members? Huh? Okay. Quickly here.
Thank you. Was it the responsibility of the hospital to pay for their housing?
Yeah, in this case, the board did not approve it. So, no, it was not done according to the board's approval in this case. But there are some doctors that the hospital provides accommodation for. But for the CMD in this situation, it was not approved by the board. That's the problem.
Hello. Can we proceed to the next one? 3.9. Suspected diversion of hospital fund by CMD and senior procurement officer to suppliers, which amounted to $766,795. The details are indicated in the appendix N, and under the police recommended that the board will engage the disciplinary police to investigate these things as to why the supplier paid monies to personal bank accounts of both the CMD and the senior procurement officer. Management.
Management agrees with the finding and the recommendation.
And the new attorney?
And the police are investigating, just like the
As recommended.
Yes.
So, police are investigating. 3.10 suspected sale companies.
Yeah.
The
procurement, senior procurement officer, is he still working at the hospital?
No, sir.
Why?
No, we've discussed that earlier, that that position doesn't exist. It was removed from that position.
Yes.
Yes.
I think she's still working on the hospital, but on administrative
In a
leave.
different position.
No, on administrative leave, not assigned any position yet.
A different position as well.
Yes, different. Thank you, legal person.
Administratively.
Yeah.
She's working in the hospital. Sorry, that answer was wrong. Yes, she's working in the hospital, but on administrative leave and demoted in a different position. It's no more working.
Yeah, on a different position.
Yeah.
But we said this before.
A different position.
Yeah. So this I stated earlier, but you know.
Yes.
Clarity is, Honorable Chair, the clarity is that they are put on administrative leave at the moment, pending the outcome of the investigation.
By the police.
Yes, by the police, which will now proceed to prosecution, for example, if they found one thing, and then possible dismissal or something like that by the court later on.
Thank you.
There was.
Yeah.
Okay. Suspected sale companies. Under the audit review, the visual registration of the vendor for DBA website revealed that Goldman Laboratory and Hartsoft Services are companies owned by public officers, that the civil servants. That the audit team noted a total of $1,426,025 and $616,875 worth of business was awarded to the same company for services respectively. And in that regard, recommended that the hospital procurement department would immediately cease from financial dealing with the two companies. Any response?
We agree with the finding and recommendation. We have even gone further to recognize a total of 4 such types of companies operating in the EFSTA, and we have ceased doing business with them. We have ceased already. We stopped it.
Audit? Can you verify that or confirm that?
We are not provided with any evidences of such.
We are not provided with evidences of that. They have responded in the management response, but we do not know actually whether that is taking place. But management action is well noted. That is what we recommend. And they need to be proactive on that area because there are possibility of staffs dealing with the hospital, especially in these areas of medical supplies. Very high risk.
So you have ceased dealing with the two companies, only 4 companies.
No, we agree with this, and we are already compliant 100%.
But you have ceased dealing with them.
More than that, sir. They identified 2, we identified 4.
Can there be any evidence?
Yeah, we can share our procurement plan for everyone when we send to the yeah, you send it to them.
Okay.
Procurement reports.
So evidence required.
Yes.
Okay. Evidence required.
So, sir, that one we are doing more than 100%. They identified 2 and we identified 4.
No problem. That is the evidence here. Can we go on retired interest? The audit indicated that the interest amounting to $4,158,885 was issued for years under review, and no documented evidence was found relating to the retirement of the same amount. The detail indicated in Appendix B. And therefore recommended that the board of directors to engage with respective individuals to provide the support documentation or recover this interest immediately from them. Management?
Now, management agrees with the findings, and the interest holders that could not provide supporting documents will be followed up for recovery of the funds. In a situation where it is a travel grant or payment as a donation, it is not warranted to provide receipts.
So the issue was for you to provide the supporting document. Did you provide that?
Yeah, we provided some, but they're still asking for more.
You provided some. Huh?
Yes.
Did you make those available to auditors?
Yes, sir.
Audit?
There was auditors for document.
There was?
Auditors for document.
Oh yes, there was auditors for document. The further comment is that the receipt provided as part of the response in relation to particular finding have been verified, and the relevant unretired interest removed from, but however, receipts relating to the other interests are not provided, and hence they are still in Appendix B. So the ones that are removed are indicated, but the ones that are still are standing.
Yeah. So some were removed, the rest, the ones that are left are part of the ones being handled by the police.
The ones that are handled, the ones that are left
are being handled by the police.
In the process of being handled?
Yeah, currently, yes. They are
By
being,
the police? Yeah?
yes.
Chair.
Police? Police?
Yeah, as stated in the articles for the comment, some of the evidences we have provided we are removed, and still there is still unretired interest is still maintained.
So the outstanding one is according to him?
That's still maintained.
It is still maintained and according to him they are now handled by the police?
Yes, it was part of the fraud report and was sent to the police.
The remaining ones are handled by the police.
Honorable Chair, just to clarify, the amount was originally more than the 4 million.
The amount?
The amount was originally more than the 4 million. Now, what is left after this removal of those they presented receipts was the 4 million. Now, that is the amount that is unretired as at the day of finalizing the report and it's been sent to the police. So if you go to Appendix D, in page 234, in the report that I have.
234.
Yes, 234, you will see the amount that is left there.
234.
Yes, in the report that I have here. You can check maybe. Yes, the grand total is on 234.
The grand total, you said appendix?
Here, 234 is J.
Appendix what? D, appendix D.
Appendix?
D.
No, it's 198.
D for Delta. D, not D for Delta, D.
It starts with 198 and ends where? And ends at 211.
Okay.
The one we have. It ends at 211.
Yes.
The total is what?
4,158,885.
4 million.
Yes, it's page 11. 211.
It could be
158? Yes.
It's page 211.
It's page 211, he said on the hard copy.
211.
Only is there, but I told you, this statement. The last thing was I told you. 4,158,885.
Yeah.
So will the outstanding balance or what? AG?
Yes, this is the current outstanding balance.
Okay.
After we remove some of the presented receipts.
Yes, CMD?
Yes, we agree, sir.
Okay. So that is what the police are currently investigating.
Yes.
What could be found in appendix D? Huh?
Yes. That's 198 to 211.
Yes,
Those are the
198 to 211.
Yes.
I was just wondering whether there are no other means of recovery if these people are still working.
Actually, there is. Like, we could have just been having a plan with them and be deducting their salaries because their salaries with us. So we could have been deducting it direct. But if the police are already recovering, we cannot do the two approaches together.
Yeah, I just wanted to caution that it's quite a very concerning statement that people when you are caught with fraud, they have stolen public funds to put them in a place where even you are recovering those monies from them. These people, as per the hospital's policy, they should have had a code of conduct. I even believe the Hospital Act may contain some of the provisions related to them so that they could leave from their jobs and have to pay back those monies. I think by mention, I'm not a lawyer, but what we have is you have administrative procedures and you have criminal procedures. If they stole, just like a thief on the street there, the police will catch him and put him on a criminal restitution. Likewise, there's an administrative restitution that the board and the management needs to take to recover those funds. And to leave us in a position is not the alternative of putting them in a position of recovering those money. That is not an alternative. Hospital needs to develop. Even the board needs to go to that level. They need to have a fraud policy. They need to have a policy, a code of ethics. And so they have doctors are a very professional group of people. They are highly organized society. And that means also people working around you, those who have those code of ethics. If they are found working on these matters, no, there should be no question of course. I just want to state that. It's very important.
Any further comment? Can we proceed? The next is 312 partial retirement of interest. The findings indicated that interest amounting to 244,761 were partially retired, and that is to be found in Appendix A of the report, and therefore the audit recommended for the board to engage respective individuals to provide the supportive document or recover this interest immediately. Management 3.1. Yeah, 3.12, page 44 to 45.
So management received the supporting documents from the interest holders, and where it is not provided, the recovery plan will be instituted. They have had the receipt so far provided as the site.
And then the further comment, the receipt provides as part of the response in relation to this payment have been verified and the relevant unretired interest removed from Appendix A. But the receipts relating to the other interests are not provided and hence are still maintained in Appendix A. So others are provided, others are not provided. The ones that are not provided, what do you do with them?
Until now, we were eliminating the police recovery. But if you go back as a board,
that one is also with the police.
Yes.
If there is no evidence, then the recovery is also with the police, or they are investigating?
Yeah. The ones who provided the receipts, it is removed.
Yeah.
But the ones that could not, the police will recover it.
Police will?
Recover it.
Will recover it. That's what Baju was telling you. Huh? It was not for the police to be recovered. Police were merely engaging them to establish whether actually that had been committed. If confirmed that they had committed, they will make a recommendation. But at your end, you should have established where there were supporting documents. If no supporting document exists, you should be involved in the recovery before it gets to the police.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this already.
Huh?
Because we've discussed this already, that we've already started that process, and you have been asked by the police to recover. And we've had engagement with the police, and the recovery has been told by the police.
No, we have not discussed aspect of retirement. I think these are the two areas that talk about all the time interest.
Yes, it's the same. Like the ones that who could provide the evidence, it will be removed. But if you cannot provide the evidence, that's fraud or something, you have to pay. And so the police will recover. It means that you use the interest wrongly.
No, what you are saying, you said we discussed this already.
Yes, yes.
I said this is the first time we are talking about all the time interest. The first one is all the time, and the second one is partially retired. So we did not discuss about that mode of recovery. The mode of recovery we are discussed on other issues that we highlighted that. You started the process, the police now called them, and now they are involved in that.
Yeah, it's the same thing for all this.
Huh?
It's the same issue for all this. It's the same.
All the issues.
Yeah. Where some people are pending, having things to pay, so it's the same issue. The recovery is
So this also you started the process?
It was all of them.
No, I mean, let's take one by one. This one also, did you start the process?
Yes.
You started engaging them, yes. And they could not provide any supporting government?
No, some provided.
The one that did not?
Yeah, some provided and they were...
I mean, the ones that did not?
Yeah, the ones that did not.
So when they did not provide,
then we discussed with them the mode of payment, and we have, but the police had already started.
you discussed with them the mode of payment?
Yeah, we wanted to recover the cost.
When did you start discussing with them?
I cannot remember all that. I don't.
You cannot remember when you started discussing with them? Was it immediately after the report?
No, before the final report.
Before the final report?
Before we do the exit. Whilst we were, because before the final report came out, we had to have engagements to see whether they have this thing or not. So the ones that have, we were able to send it to the auditors, and the auditors removed those ones. But the ones that did not have, the process of discussing started.
So let's say that the ones in Appendix A, all those listed on the Appendix A, they are currently with the police. The investigations going on with the police.
Yeah.
Okay?
Police to recover it. But now, based on what we are getting from here, we are going to engage our lawyers again and hear their version regarding this. And then, yes, if like that it stands, then what we'll do is we'll tell the police that this is what the other legal people are saying. Yeah. And we'll engage with them and see.
And those listed are still working with the hospital?
Yes, most of them.
Yeah. Most of them, don't confirm.
One minute is that?
Yes. Chair.
Appendix A.
Appendix D, yeah?
A.
Let me see. There is a technical question. Some of them are administrative leave, so let's just check the names.
This was since 2020.
Appendix A.
What page is it?
Page
Okay, I got it, 110. Yes, the first one, it's working with the hospital but on administrative leave. Second one, but the third one is not working with the hospital, it was leave of his duties. That's the second page, number 3. It's not working with the hospital.
111. Is it 111?
111.
Yes, 111.
Number 23.
Yeah, number 23.
It's not working with the hospital. This one also is not working with the hospital.
Number 23.
Which ones are not working with the hospital?
So should I name them?
No.
Huh?
I mean,
You can, yeah.
this is the date.
Yes. Which ones are not working with the hospital?
So, yeah, Al-Jafari is not working with the hospital. Al-Jafari again is not working with the hospital.
Okay,
Jared Drame is not working with the hospital. That's 1112, the second to last. Jared Drame is not working with the hospital now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Janet is only $5.
Balance is only $5.
It's not only, but it's $5.
It has to be recovered. Yeah, Omar.
I can pay for it.
So Omar Bujam is not with us. But technically it's with us. It's on leave of absence.
Next.
Awakar Jan is with us, but on administrative leave. That is the 112. The last one, Dr. Abubakar Jan. Yeah.
112.
Yes. The last one is with us, but on administrative leave.
Balance on that side is
So 113. Page 113, Omar Bujan is with us, but on leave of absence. Adam Mbaye is with us, but on administrative leave. Mohamed Dabo is with us. Mohamed Dabo is with us. Adam Mbaye is with us. Al Jafari is not with us. Now 115, Mohammed Dabo is with us. Joseph Mendy is with us. He has paid. Huh? Ibrahim Assanyan is with us. And then the last one is Adam Obai, is on administrative leave but with us here.
You take note of the ones that are grade 2 and those that are on administrative. All of them, their cases with the police, and the police are working on according to the recovery mechanism. Yeah? Notwithstanding the ones that are under you, you can also work on your own mechanism.
We wanted to discuss that with the lawyers and see, because we've had different versions. The ones here are saying you can, somebody else is telling you cannot. So we have to make a legal opinion on that. Because I cannot agree with the lawyers.
Can we consider the issue of this? Well, what's the other? Sani?
Sani, even to take this medication. This is out. But this seems to be a long time. Was it 2020?
Yes. No, 2024. Last year. Some of them, yes.
2020, 2021. One number is like, it appears to show me.
Yes. Some of them since 2020. Yes. The audit, I think, was from 2020. It was a bit.
Can we consider?
Yeah.
Next is 312. Suspected fraudulent expenditure on interest and cash.
We have 313 here.
313 here.
3, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Cash advance. The findings for the review indicated payment was 423,900, 207,373. Made to Mr. Gang. And the table also indicated that as well. And another table indicated a total of 405,800 to bill 12,000. The other one is 125,000. From that, the auditor recommended that the management pursue the pay of the above payment and recover the fund immediately from them and police the evidence of the payment for confirmation. Management responded.
Management has retrieved receipts from few officials where payment was made. Where documentation is lacking, management will put in mechanism for recovery of the cost.
Yeah, for this is be reviewed that the issue remains the same, not resolved. Still there are no documents provided as evidence. What's your take on that?
Yeah. So they say there is no document provided?
There is still no documentary or other evidences that the award payments made to them were genuine and not fraudulent. And this issue still remains the same.
Yes. I think the audit said that the document is not adequate. So we agree with it.
You agree?
Yeah.
You agree with the auditor?
Yes.
So what do you do with that?
So
you agree with the auditor?
So it should be recovered.
Are you recovering?
Yes, through the police. Police are recovering.
And not you. Police are investigating, but they are not recovering.
They said,
Yeah?
Chair, so what we are saying is the police may be recovering through the investigation, but the mandate is with those that are charged with governance to ensure that the monies are recovered. This is the position. So if the board cannot just sit back and then they need to be on their neck, hence the police is now doing it. They need to be constantly on the police and ensure that they are up to date with the recoveries that are made. This is our position.
We agree 100%.
So, can you call Sally?
Yeah.
Now we are going to the report. That is 314.
Sorry,
Suspected.
which page, sir?
51, 314.
Okay.
Suspected override of internal controls by the management. The review revealed that the payment amounted to 1,426,500 were against the finance director, of which we are not vetted by the Department of Internal Audit. The details indicated in Appendix A, and therefore the police recommended that the finance team immediately cease from such act and ensure all payment go to the internal audit for review. Management.
So management agrees with this finding and has been corrected already. Now the payments are now done directly to the bank.
Payments are done
directly to the bank.
And the internal audits are?
No, now like it goes directly to the bank. No need for, it's not the finance director vetting it anymore. So the patient's pay goes directly to the bank. There's no intermediary.
Audit review.
These are talking about payments, not coming to us.
The issue is for the internal audit to review.
I don't understand. Is it 3.14? Yes.
You're facing some problem. Because after 51, you are.
So this one, if it is the weather now, all payments are vetted by the internal auditor now.
All payments are vetted by the internal auditor.
Yes.
That's the issue.
That's the result.
Audit, what do you say for that?
We are able to confirm. No evidence provided for us.
No evidence to confirm.
Yes.
Can we provide evidence to confirm that the payments are vetted by the internal audit?
Yes, we can.
When?
Today, sir. They can pass
Today?
Huh? No, you just show them the payments we have done so far, like this last week also.
Provide evidence. Okay? So, honorable members,
today is very, we are very, very fair.
So, Chairman, on this issue about for them to be happy that we are doing it, what do they need? Because we can send them the payments we are doing.
The evidence, yes.
Yeah. So, how many do they need? Is it for this week or for?
I know you have
It's better if they come and see all our payments. Chairman?
Sometimes you are very
Chairperson?
Yeah, but it's not for us to be happy.
Yes. No, I just wanted to say something. Chairperson, I think like if it is for a month or so, I think it will be easier if they just come in and see what we are doing. And they could see the payments for the last, since the audit started.
Just try to give me the samples.
Chair, maybe it can be sent to the committee, as, and that has been the customary practice. It can be sent to the chair.
When you send it to us, they will confirm.
No problem. We can do that. We'll send samples for each month, huh?
Samples will provide.
You cannot do it today.
Yeah, we can send samples.
We cannot do it today.
The government is small. Unfortunately, we'll stop here for today. We cannot exhaust the consideration. We're supposed to have another inquiry, that one is an inquiry, and it's going to be online. The assembly is supposed to provide this place for that person to participate.
No problem.
And it takes time to do the connection.
May we stop it?
I've been allowed that 51. The IT is supposed to come in to work on that arrangement. So we'll go in here. We'll stop at the 30. Yeah, 51 to 52. But we start, we'll continue from 3.15.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Chairman, about the evidence, so because we are going to do sample for different months, so you can give us a week to send.
I can give you
a week.
Okay.
To send.
You have our email, you can contact the office. Then you can send whatever you have.
Scan copy.
You send it to them. So that number level, member can be adjourned the when you are rescheduled, you will be contacted.
So I have to say that we did not receive the letter this time.
That's what
last
they
time
said.
also it was the same. So please, we need some.
So certainly.
We got it last night. We have to be here this morning.
No problem. Thank you very much for the cooperation and understanding. So, honorable member, we have to stop here for today due to other engagement. The next meeting is coming. We're supposed to use this place. Under no can any honorable member move that we shouldn't be adjourned until another day.
I move that we adjourn till
Seconder. It has been moved and seconded that shouldn't be adjourned until another day. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And not in favor, please say no. There is a bit. The meeting is therefore adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the care and the CMD, the entire team of Edward Francis World Hospital. Thank you.